Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, we all know that this goes on. We've always known that this goes on, but now they're coming out to add our flesh to the bone of it. Guys, I bring you this. Former Oyo First Lady reveals her husband cheated on her more than once or twice and explains how she handles it. So we're going to Oyo State for this one, the former Oyo State governor, but which one, we'll get into it in a moment. So again, the headline: former Oyo State First Lady reveals her husband cheated on her more than once or twice and explains how she handled it. So now let's get into exactly what's going on here. Former Oyo State First Lady Florence Ajimobi, so we're going to the Ajimobi household with this one. Former Oyo State First Lady Florence Ajimobi opened up to her daughter Abisola Kola Daisy that her husband, former Oyo State Governor Abiola Ajimobi, cheated on her multiple times. She also explained how she handled his infidelity. During an Instagram live chat with her daughter, Florence spoke about marriage, motherhood, growing up as a love child, and the only condition under which divorce can be considered. She said that she caught her husband cheating on her a few times, but she chose to forgive him each time to save her marriage. She said she never called him out for it after he apologized. She said, even on one or two occasions that I've caught him cheating, he will apologize. And once he apologizes, it ends. I never go back to them again. I never, Bisola, I never ever discuss it. Because what I am saying is, to err is human, to forgive divine. We are friends. Even as a wife, sometimes I fall below his expectations. Sometimes we do things that is even worse than cheating. Like what? What is worse? What can I do that is worse than cheating? Her first daughter, Abisola Kola Daisy, asked. And the former First Lady responded, I know some women that build houses without their husband knowing it. It is bad, it is bad. Why would you do such a thing without telling him? Why? So, there are different things we do. It is not just cheating that is bad in a relationship. There are some people that you know, they keep dirty secrets and they don't tell their husband. So if you say somebody is your friend, why are you keeping these things? Sometimes when I do something, sometimes I can't even face my husband. I send him messages when I know I have done something because I don't want to see the hurt on his face. I just write it down. I send him a text and he replies that it's okay, Flory, we can talk about it. So Flory apparently is his pet name for his wife. She added that for a man, having sex with his wife is different from having sex with a side chick. He said having sex with the wife is making love, while sex with the other woman is just sex. But I think most men, when they cheat, they just have sex with the woman, and the women are smart enough. They know what they want. They have sex with them, and and then that tails off, it doesn't complete. When a man is having a relationship with a woman he loves, he is making love, he is not having sex. So if you are cheap enough, give yourself to my husband. He is mine. Whatever is mine will not go away. He will use you and come back to me. I tell people that it is my leftover you are eating. He is my leftover. I have eaten the better part of him. I get the chunky meat, eat the bone. It's none of my business, and you are doing it hush 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 hush. You are not enjoying it because you are stealing. You are looking, is somebody there? Am I going to get caught? So he is my husband. He can't go anywhere else. She added that cheating hurts a woman when she loves her husband, but a woman who doesn't love her husband wouldn't care what he does. If you don't love your husband, you won't be jealous. A woman that doesn't love her husband will not care what he does out there. She doesn't care. Even when you see him, you don't care. When I see my husband, you know, I feel like dying. When I love him so much, and I don't want to be seen as a failure to lose him to somebody else, so I fight for him. I'm always fighting for him, always fighting to get him back, and he knows. She went on to reveal how she reacts when her husband cheats on her. She said, sometimes I see my husband, I can just Google the woman's name and then I print out the picture and put it on the bed. When he comes back from work, he sees the girl's picture on his bed and he knows the girl. I put her name, I put her telephone number, and I don't say a word. I don't say a word. I've done it before. Ask him. I print it out. Because when I say the phone, I use True Finder. It will give me the name of the person. I'll Google the name of the person. Even one was living in America. I Googled her, printed her picture, put it on the bed. What do you have to say? And I left. So when he went into the room, he saw it on the bed. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I don't know what he did. But you know, he now came to me later and said, can we discuss? And I said, about what? Nothing to discuss. Do you want me to send her away? I said, pay her off. She added, no, I want to keep my home. So where would I go? I'll go and be staying alone. When I have labored all this while, then somebody will come and enjoy. Never. It is not going to happen. Never, 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 never. So that never carries on for a bit. Abisola then asked her mother, you are known to be an advocate of no divorce. At what point can divorce make sense? Florence Ajimobi responded, the point where I'll opt for divorce is when it becomes violent. I don't buy divorce because I look at my background and especially where I am coming from. I am a love child. My mother never married my father. I was born out of wedlock. I grew up with my mom and my stepfather and I knew what it takes. It is not the best for any child. And I had also made up my mind that there is nothing that the man can do. It is from his house to my grave. Her daughter pointed out that she mentioned that she would make an exception if violence was involved. And Miss Ajimobi stated that for a man to be violent, the woman must have played a part. She said, but for it to get violent, I tell a lot of ladies that sometimes you prompt it. I am not going to let a man beat me because I'd rather lock myself up and tell him I am not going to ever come out because I know he'll beat me. Maybe I know I have said some horrible things. You know, women, we can talk, we can get aggressive. Sometimes I know I have said horrible things to my husband and I see the look on his face. Before it gets further, I just lock myself in the toilet and he calls me to come. I say, never, you are going to beat me. He'll say, Florence, I am not. I'll say, promise me on your mother's something, you can't beat me. And he's not a bastard. You tell a man some horrible things, he gets angry, he gets worked up. So I want us to learn from that. We should mind what we say, because an angry man cannot control himself. Neither can an angry woman control her words. So sometimes we provoke the men to that level, but when you know you've done it, don't let any man beat you for crying out loud. Don't allow it. So this is now the exchanges between Mrs. Ajimobi and her daughter, trying to pass on motherly wisdom onto her daughter. But are these motherly wisdom is really where the question is. So let's just go through some of the things that this lady is passing on to her child. First, let's just start off from this lady's background, because she said she's a love child, which then and then she goes on, it doesn't actually tell you, she goes on to say it in her own words, that she was born out of wedlock and then she grew up, of course, with her mom and her stepfather. So that already colors her background and her outlook on life. But then I'm assuming that she's a woman of some education. She may not be Wole Soyinka level, but at least she's been in the state house, she's mingled with the high and mighty in society, so she should have evolved thinking. But then evolved thinking is not reflecting in the wordings that she's passing on to her daughter. So first, she's saying that you have to be tolerant of a man that cheats. So this is really not something that you should be encouraging women to do. Yes, you can forgive a man that cheats if an explanation is given and a promise is made that it would not happen again. But you cannot have a serial cheater as a partner and then just hang in there just for the purposes of having that Mrs. title. But then of course it is the status and the money that is really keeping a lot of these women in these homes, and especially in this instance, this is my guess for this situation. But then of course what really triggered me is that her making excuses for a man being violent towards a woman. So you are saying women can talk and women can say things that can provoke and trigger. So if a woman says something to you as her husband or a man or whatever your relationship is with the woman, and the woman says something to you that triggers you, the next response is not for you then to weigh down on her and get violent. You walk away and go and cool yourself off, or you might even stay away from her permanently, because there are several other options other than violent. Men are traditionally and broadly are physically stronger and bigger than women. So you are no hero beating up a woman, because you are not fighting equal for equals. It's not measure for measure. And you can also, in that fit of anger, in that peak of anger, weigh upon her with more violence than you had intended, with the consequence that you had not intended. So and you should not really resort to violence anyway, because violence shows a weakness of mind. That's it, because you feel that you have lost the argument to the point that you cannot then intellectually spar, and then of course then you've then resorted to your physicality as the panacea to a situation. It is really, I don't even believe, by the way, in beating children. Maybe a little smack once in a while as a correctional measure, but I believe that conversation really is the way to parent a child, because if you use conversation to parent that child, then you are correcting that child not just for what they are doing wrong in that moment that you are correcting them, but you are giving them the tools to understand right from wrong, so that they're then having that understanding that this thing is wrong, and similar things with similar circumstances are also wrong as well. So it's not just don't do this, but don't do things like this for these reasons. And if they have that understanding, then of course they can apply it to a broader spectrum of things. So that's just parenting. So we're going back to this lady. So this lady now is one of those old school type of mamas in the Nigerian state. I'm imagining that she's a woman in her 60s or thereabout, and I wouldn't want to add religion. You know, so that sort of multiple wives' homes where one is Alaja this and Alaja that. You know, all those lace wearing Owambe sort of. This is an Owambe mindset that your husband can beat you because you said something that was not especially to his liking. This is not something that I subscribe to or would ascribe my own personality to. But then, of course, this is something that goes on. Conversations in the comment section, the high and mighties are now coming out in the public space to give us an insight into the inner workings of their inner sanctum. So come share thoughts about what this lady had to say on a broad array of things that she has spoken on. Come share thoughts about all this with me in the comment section. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what relationship advice you have to give this lady and her daughter, or if you agree with her outlook, come tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.